Yo, what is up everyone? Tachi here. So today we are going to be talking about the Halloween banner. We are actually going to be getting this instead of the reality banner, which I believe they said we were going to get in October. I mean, I guess it is what it is. I'm not sure like what the issue was. They probably had to delay it, but I would have liked to see a notice of some sort because that is kind of what I was expecting. I actually didn't think we were going to get a Halloween one, but it's nice to see we get a little limited event here. Unfortunately, I may or may not have used most of my crystals, which is a bit of a shame. But there is actually really good weapons in this banner, so let's go through them. Now, before we do that though, I will bring up one thing. I did see someone probably jokingly bring up that I'm going to complain because it's a 5-step, not a 3-step. Here's the thing. The last time I complained was because they changed it from a 3-step guaranteed feature to a 5-step guaranteed feature. So it's just literally worse in every way. This time, they changed it from a 3-step no guarantee to a 5-step with a guaranteed feature. So technically speaking, it's actually a better banner, even though it will cost you more to get to the final step, because you are actually guaranteed to get a featured weapon. So I'm not going to complain about this one. This is fine. This is exactly what I meant when I said that I would appreciate it if it stayed the same or better. This I would classify as better. Obviously, it would have been even better than what it already is if it was a 3-step with a featured guarantee, but I'm not greedy as fuck, so I'm not going to ask for that. I think this as it is already good enough. Let's move on to the jobs first. We need to check out the stats. So the first job we're going to be seeing is Cinderella Halloween Minstrel. Stat-wise, it's pretty much focused all into HP. You guys see here that's 500 HP and then it has about 100 for the other stats. It's pretty okay in terms of stats. I suppose this would probably be best fit for like a Vanguard, and then pretty much everyone else is just like for a little bit of every stat. For me as a magical DPS, I would only really be trying to get this just for the HP, and something like a Minstrel and a Sork, it would just be like overall a little tiny boost in your overall stats. It's not really that great for that. So if you're just pulling for the job, it would be bad, but obviously we are going to get into the weapon. And as you guys can see, the weapon is actually really good. The only thing is it does not have support mode. Fortunately, it does have a really good main skill. You guys see here, it's a tier 3, it raises both physical and magical attack, and it is 1.5 target. That's just really good. I didn't check to see if the global stats were changed, but the stats on this are actually pretty good as well. 6,200, that's pretty high. It is 17 cost, so it's not even that high. I usually expect 18 cost for these kind of weapons, but 17 is pretty good. Overall, I think this is just a really good weapon to pull for. It's probably going to help out your DPS quite a bit. Next is going to be Little Mermaid Halloween Gunner. So you guys can tell here most of the stats are in magical defense. Just a bit of a shame that it's defensive stats. I wish that was magical attack, but this automatically means job-wise, this is primarily for clerics, 700 magical defense. That is a pretty decent amount of defense, and then obviously you get the 100 HP and the 100 magical attack. So that's pretty good already as well. This is a decent class for clerics to pull. For DPS, not so much. I suppose it could be okay for Sork and Mince because your stuff will scale on that. But let's look at the actual weapon. The actual weapon is going to be a normal bow, typical, and it does have mental focus. So main skill is just normal, sub skill is normal, 17 cost is pretty high. And honestly, the magic attack is like not that great for a 17 cost. It's not low. It's just, it's not great, you know, it's just okay. I don't know where this would put this on terms of the bows. I suppose we could take a quick look. So you guys see here, in terms of magical attack, I believe it would be around here for 17 cost. You see there's a couple 16 costs that have more magical attack than that. So yeah, it's not too hot. In terms of overall stats, it does seem to be, I think, top 5. Personally, I don't think it's worth pulling for just for the bow. But we are going to be going into the other weapons. I'm sure most of the top DPS by now are probably trying to build 2 builds. So let's go back to the weapon and then we could talk more about that. So again, it does have 6100 stats, which does put it around top 5 material in terms of overall stats. But in terms of magic attack, it's not too high. That means a lot of the stats are in P attack, which is a bit unfortunate. If you are trying to do Half Nightmare Snow and you do not have bows, you really don't have much of a choice other than to pull anyways. On top of the fact that if you are building another grid for magic. So if you're using spear and bows at the same time, or if you're using a half nightmare paladin as well, then you will probably want to pull on this banner anyways. And the reason for that is because, as you guys see here, we are going to be getting this weapon. Pay no attention to this LL here. That is something that we will probably not be getting anytime soon, so ignore it. But for now, let's talk about the actual skill. It does have a typical skill here, 1.5 targets. It does decrease the enemy magical defense, and it does have DC 2. So again, that's just a you should pull this. It is 18 cost, which is quite high, and we might have a little bit of difficulty as magic DPS fill it in, but it's probably worth it even if we have to fill out one of our extra slots with an SR weapon. So for example, right now I could fit in 19 L spears and 1 SR, or I could fit in 18 and 2 and I have more DCs. So I might have to swap out one of the worst 16 cost ones and fit this one in, and either swap my 2 SRs to 13 cost ones or do something else. I have to check in terms of my grid which one gives me the most stats, but at the moment I do have all spears, so I have plenty of leeway in that aspect. As you guys see here, it does have 6,600 total stats at L. I believe this does make it the highest spear in the game. Let me go double check that. Nope, it actually makes it the second highest spear. Pretty much, actually, it has 6 less than Defiant Bird Spear, which I do not have MLB, but it does have a better skill. So in terms of total stats, it is the 3rd best spear, and in terms of magic attack, it would be number 6. So not that bad, especially when it comes with DC 2. That means it is going to be the 5th best spear in the game at the moment. And in terms of total cost as well, it's pretty much in line with the other ones. You see all of these are 18 cost as well, except for Beast Curse at 17, which is why Beast Curse is so good. Pretty much that spear is just automatic, worth pulling. There's like legit no reason to not pull it. And on top of that, eventually we will be able to upgrade this to LL. And let's keep in mind, these weapons are more than likely not going to be available until we get the Halloween banner next year. So if you don't pull them now, I don't know what else to say to you. There's pretty much no point in not pulling them. And then the final weapon is going to be Text of Beasts and Demons, which is actually a very good book. It does not have support boon, which is a bit of a shame, but it does have reduced physical and magic attack to 1.5 targets. And it has very high stats. I don't know where this falls in line in terms of books, but it should be top 5 material more than likely. It also has very high P attack and very high M attack, which will make your reductions a lot better. This is pretty much what Grimoire Weiss wants to be, but unfortunately Grimoire Weiss is not this. So this is pretty much the optimal. This is exactly what you want. This is a very, very good skill, and it's definitely worth pulling for. So if you guys are interested in pulling that, I would highly suggest doing so on top of all the other jobs. Again, all of these are limited jobs, so if you do not grab them now, you will have to wait until the next Halloween event, which will likely be sometime next year. Overall, I would be pulling on this banner. Anyways, guys, that is going to be the end of this video. If you guys like the video, hit the like button. If you guys want to see future videos, hit the subscribe button. For now though, I am out. Have a nice day.